What up, my splitches? Welcome to the Split Ends Podcast, the football podcast that talks a little bit of football and a lot of life. I'm Colleen Wolf with Erica Tampos. You trying that one out? You like it?
It was good.
Yeah, workshopping it. I think so.
I liked it.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How are you? It's raining in LA.
It's very weird when it rains in LA. There was like a lot of accidents. There were a lot of people driving, like crazy people.
Yeah.
It took me a really long time to get here.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I mean, I told my assistant to cancel all my obligations for today, but here I am because I realized I don't have an assistant.
She is committed to this podcast, everybody. Kind of crazy that we're going into week 15 and no playoff spots have been clinched yet.
Right?
That is insane. It's only happened like 3 times since 1978. Like
wow.
That's off the top of the dome. Yeah. So I don't remember what I did 5 minutes ago, but I remember weird things like that.
Okay. So, well, that's cool. That's a cool little pocket fact.
It is, right? Tell all your
stuff
friends.
That right in. You know, we're at the bar. Hey, let's reenact the bar. That got some good pub last week. So here we are. We're just two broads talking ball, right?
Yeah. Or if we're at the holiday party, then we're asking for the bartender's Venmo.
Right. That's correct, which we'll get into that in a second. But here, let's go.
Okay.
Hey, man. Crazy. Week 15.
No playoff spots yet.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Already? When was the last time that happened?
I don't know. Can you buy me another beer, though?
Absolutely. Hey, can I get a 16-ounce White Claw? Surge! Damn, you beat me to it.
It was a race. I won.
Damn.
Hey, also some interesting news. Ian Rappaport right now, he's at the league meetings in Dallas.
And
love
Dallas.
The anticipation is that there will be a vote to approve, and this is a location that I think you will like, a Las Vegas Super Bowl in 2024.
Oh, let's go. Vegas is amazing. It's super fun. I would love to go there. Maybe for the draft. iHeart, if you're listening.
Yeah.
We'd love to be at the draft. And I think actually we should host the draft.
We should. I'll be on stage with Michael Irvin, but I can also do a podcast
well,
at the
can
same
I go
time.
too? Can I just be in the back? I can get you coffee.
Please
My
do
assistant will work on it. Don't worry.
We'll let you know if the Split End podcast will be in Las Vegas, because that would be a headline.
That would be huge.
And speaking of headlines,
whoa,
let's do a little headline check. That's right. We're gonna do it hot or not style, as always.
Of course.
You ready for this? Buckle up, rookie.
Oh my gosh, here we go. I'm buckled up. I'll start. The Cowboys flew in their own benches for the game because reportedly the heating on the visiting team benches at FedEx Field didn't work and their butts weren't about to be cold in Washington.
That's hot. Literally. Michael Parsons, how about this, was staying warm on the sideline with some push-ups in between drives before Washington almost had the comeback of the year. Almost.
Yeah, not. Felt showboaty to me. Can we pause this pod? I'm going to just hit quick, 10 push-ups real fast.
Of course you are.
Yeah. For the second time in a month, a pair of scissors were found on the field in the middle of a game. Taylor Heineke spotted them this past Sunday. Luckily, nobody was hurt.
Hot that he found them, not that they were there. Cut that out, guys.
Oh, I get it. Cut it
Yeah.
out.
Sean Jefferson yelling and mother effing on the sidelines as a coach for the Cardinals as his son, Van Jefferson, scores a 52-yard touchdown from Matthew Stafford.
Hot. This was amazing, and give his dad the Emmy. He was
hot.
like, oh, man, come on. Yeah, right. He was so stoked.
I like that they get to go in against each other twice a year, too. It's
I
fantastic.
know. Van Jefferson, great smile. Definitely high up on my smile rankings. All right, on Sunday Night Football, Collinsworth said, have you ever seen someone as honest about everything as Aaron Rodgers?
Not hot. Not hot. Where's freezing cold takes when you need him?
Oh, my
Come
God.
On today's episode of What Does It Mean?
What does it mean?
John Harbaugh explained exactly his decision on going for 2 this past week against the Browns. Here it is.
Pretty much a standard kind of really not a non-decision. You do it at that point in time because you're going to have to win a 2-point conversion. So you understand if you get it or don't get it early where you're at going from there. How many possessions you're going to need and what you're going to have to do. If you wait till the last 2-point conversion and you don't get it, the game's over. You've lost. So you try it early. We're in a 7-point game. We know where we stand. We don't get it. We're in a 9-point game, and we know that we need 2 possessions.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's totally hot. That clears it right up. An NFL source told NFL reporters that Mara loves Joe Judge. He thinks he's found his Belichick or Parcells, and there's just no way he's going to give up on another coach this soon.
As an Eagles fan, this is the hottest thing that I have ever read. Hot, hot, hot,
Hot alert.
Hot. I love this one. Myles Garrett took Northeast Ohio families on a holiday shopping spree on Monday, giving them money for toys and clothes.
That is hot AF. Colleen, I got another one for you.
Okay.
And this one is a banger.
Okay.
The Raiders got cocky ahead of the mid. Let's start that again.
No, please
because
keep that in. She's stroked out.
Yeah,
Amazing.
does anyone smell toast? The Raiders get cocky. They head out to midfield in Kansas City to celebrate on the logo. When the Chiefs destroyed the Raiders, the Chiefs played wheels on the bus go round and round. The Raiders bus rolls round and round to the Browns this week with their tails between their legs.
That
Hot or
is
not?
so hot. You know we love all the petty drama around here.
Of course we do.
I love that they were playing Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round, because that obviously stems from last season when the Raiders beat them and then decided to
Do a
take
victory
the buses around the stadium. I love it. That's never going to get old.
Ah, man, that's awesome. That's so great. But speaking of, the Raiders, the Chiefs, their past games, let's look at the Chiefs. We should look at Thursday, right?
Oh, yeah.
So this is a big Thursday.
Huge Thursday. Not to live in the past, but I do want to say that
Future's now.
in Minneapolis, there were I think it was a group of like 6 people from London that were hanging out at the set, and I'm sure they're splitties.
Yes.
So I want to
What do
give
you mean
them a shout out
they
here.
didn't say that they were splitties?
No, they did.
Okay,
They did.
okay.
You're right. I know
Okay,
for
you
sure
know for a
they
fact.
are.
Splitties, let us know.
So they said hello to you and to
Aw.
the entire Around the NFL podcast. And anytime that I'm out in a parking lot, gang, come and say hello. Find your girl. I'm out there. I'll hang out.
TJ Maxx, Ralph's, shopping, like any
wherever.
parking lot.
Post office.
Any
like
parking lot.
even on the 405. Like, just give me a wave. So anyway, Chiefs Chargers. It's the I'll see it when I believe it bowl.
Oh.
Which is one of my favorite things from this offseason. A Chargers fan told Patrick Mahomes at one of these charity golf outings to be wary of Justin Herbert. And that was Mahomes' response. I'll see it when I believe it.
Oh, my God.
A botched cliche is my favorite cliche because I botch them all the time. But obviously this game is huge. First place on the line.
Yep.
Right here in the backyard. at
So
SoFi
you're not
Stadium.
traveling. You don't have to
No.
travel. So what does that mean? Tomorrow you going to the salon? You going to get a massage? Like, what is your Wednesday going to be like right
So
now?
my Wednesday is going to be pretty much the same, only that I don't get on a plane. I'm just going to prep the show.
Got
it's
it.
very boring.
Gotcha.
But maybe I should just like go and get like a blowout, and get my nails done. and
Your
just-
nails look great actually right
Thanks,
now.
I did them this morning. They're press-ons.
Nice. Wow, you look like a pro. I'm super excited for this game. I'm hoping to be there myself. We shall see. The Chargers looked amazing against the Giants last week. The Chiefs, though, are coming off their 6-game winning streak. It's crazy. But I looked at the stat, which was amazing, Colleen, is that Kansas City leads the matchup against the Chargers 64 to 58 to 1. So like the Chiefs technically have the Chargers number, but the Chargers beat the Chiefs already. So you guys, it's just so crazy. What's gonna happen?
You're John Harbaugh right now.
Yeah. I'm just spitting out numbers that I think are interesting.
Okay, so the thing with this game and really all the games this week is COVID is crazy
Insane.
right now. And there were, 37 players that tested positive for COVID on Monday. And 8 more Browns players were added to the list today. And we'll talk about that game in a second. But Rashawn Slater, the Chargers left tackle, he tested positive for COVID. He still has a chance that he could play, but that's going to be a big problem. Also, Austin Eckler, he hurt his ankle in that game. So short week. You just never know with these injuries when it is that short week, so we'll be monitoring his status. Keenan Allen, he will be back, though. That's great news. He missed last week because of COVID, but head coach Brandon Staley says that he expects him to be back. Justin Herbert's been incredible over these past 2 games, completing 74% of his passes, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's been really good. But this Chiefs defense is the thing that
It's
has
stepping up for
completely
sure.
caught fire. And we talked about it with Cynthia last week that Steve Spagnuolo, his defenses, they always come on late in the season, and that's exactly what they're doing here. And the only thing that I'm worried about is Chris Jones is one of the guys that landed on the COVID list. So I doubt he'll be able to come off in time. That's going to be a problem because the defense has been so good. It's been the shining star of the entire team.
Yeah.
Since week 6, only once has this defense allowed more than 20 points. So they went from a complete liability to one of the best units, one of the best things about this team.
Yeah, there's only a single game between them in the AFC West, between the Chargers and Chiefs. And if the Chargers, exactly like what you just said, the team that the Chargers played in Week 3 is not this Chiefs team now. Like, they took a while to get going. You're right.
And they were missing key guys,
right.
too.
And so that could happen again a little bit with this, with all the COVID. But I don't know. Like, I really feel like if the Chargers pull this one out, their rest of schedule, Texans, Broncos, Raiders.
Broncos could be tough.
Broncos and Raiders in division can always throw a wrench into things, but it's pretty easy of a schedule.
So the Chargers defense, they just allow so many rushing yards and a lot of points per game too. So Andy Reid, I'm sure he's never heard this before, run the damn ball. It is his Achilles heel. He never does it. This is the matchup that he absolutely has to. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Darrell Williams, the time is yours. See what I did there? Time's yours. That's another Andy Reid thing. I just know this guy so well from his time in Philly.
Who's your dream interview guest after the game, or what's your premonition of who's going to be up there with you?
Okay, so if it's Chiefs, Travis Kelce is always fun.
Yep.
He's a great one.
Yep.
He likes to roll with all of the madness. And then if it's on the Chargers side,
you got to go Herbie, right?
Yeah. Justin Herbert's good. He's a little quiet sometimes, but maybe we can.
Do you think you could slip in Herbie fully loaded to him? Wasn't that a movie about a car with like Lindsay Lohan and
what?
I think it
was.
I think it was.
It's weird. I missed that one.
Yeah, Herbie fully loaded. Looking it up right now in real time. Lindsay Lohan. Yep, it came out in 2005. It was a family comedy.
Oh, wow.
But that might be right up his alley. He might be too young, actually.
All right. Well, great suggestion. I'll put it in the box. Not sure if I'm going to open that box. We also have a doubleheader this week. Raiders Browns on Saturday.
Yep.
As I just mentioned, the Browns, they are just. Day by day, minute by minute, there's more guys that are testing positive for COVID. So 4 of the 8 are starters. Jarvis Landry, Wyatt Teller on the offensive line with Jedrick Wills, Austin Hooper, Tack McKinley on the defense. So there's a ton of guys. But we've seen this before with this Browns team. It's not that it makes it any easier, but this is something that they dealt with last year when they basically, first of all, they had to play a playoff game without their head coach, Kevin Stefanski.
Right.
It was their first playoff win in so long, and it was against the Steelers. And then also,
4,000 years.
I think they were playing the Jets. I have to look, but they had no wide receivers. I think they had to put all 4 of their starting wide receivers on the COVID list. So, again, it doesn't make this any easier, but it's kind of stinks for them because they're the 8th seed right now, outside looking in, and now you have a ton of your guys, playmakers on both sides of the ball that are not available.
And this Raiders team is just not the same without Darren Waller, without some of their key pieces. It has not been, the same. So hopefully he's back. I guess he is still questionable with that knee injury. Was day to day. So we'll see where he is as of now and when that comes out. Let's look at Pat's Colts. Now, this one I have no particular interest in.
What?
Yeah, I just feel like it's one of those games that you can just, write off. Clear my schedule, assistant, because Saturday is for mama.
We're going to, hey, Splitties, if you would like to be Erica Tamposi's assistant, please tweet her and let her know.
Yep.
She offers great benefits. I actually just talked to Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, wow.
This morning. Yeah.
About what?
About everything. A little bit of everything coming off the bye.
What's the latest with him?
Well, he's just crushing it right now. I found this crazy stat. According to PFF, he has more first down runs than 21 entire teams. He has been so good.
I'm starting to get nervous.
Year.
I'm sweating a little bit.
I asked him how many people go up to him and thank him for their fantasy season because he has saved mine and single-handedly brought me to the playoffs. The only issue is this late bye. Little dicey last week in the first round of the playoffs, but got through. That's a little breaking news for everybody who really cares about my fantasy team. That's for you, a developing story that we are tracking here on the SE Wire. That is the Split Ends Wire. So
I didn't roll my eyes back and be like, the SE Wire. What?
Yeah. Don't say what I believe it. But Colts and Patriots, they're both coming off a bye week. it's all about this run game for both teams. And both defenses are going to have a really tough time. But Jonathan Taylor, he has just been on an absolute force. Also, big Christmas guy, Jonathan Taylor.
Nice.
Yeah, he loves the season.
That's exciting. I did see that Damian Harris was back at practice today. Mac Jones looked good, but I did have a dream, Colleen, and I woke up, and it was a game, and I don't know who the opponent was, but I remember that Mac Jones fell and was on the field, and he was like, my knee, my knee, my knee. And I was like, oh, shit. There go the Pat. Like, the Pat season's over if that happens. And I'm, like, worried that maybe it's, like, a bad omen. Like, what if something happens to his knee? Like, that was a legitimate dream I had this morning.
You've just put this out into the universe.
No, I'm anti-putting it out.
That's the anti-jinx?
Mm-hmm. Now his knee is going to be like, hey, look at my knee. I can flip it all around and nothing can happen.
I don't know. When you're flipping a knee around, that seems like a bad idea. It feels like that's not a great thing.
Yeah, I'm excited for this game. It's going to be huge if we pull it off, especially since the Patriots beat the Bills already. That would put me feeling much better as a Patriots fan if we could just...
You've had one down year as a Patriots fan.
Yeah.
I mean, how about poor Aaron over here, Bills fan?
Yeah, how you doing, Aaron?
Like, we didn't even check in on Aaron yet.
We don't have to. We can just move on.
He seems okay.
Look at this.
He seems okay.
You're over here gloating about the Patriots.
I'm not gloating. I'm just saying that the coin was defeated.
Oh, that's true. I'm sorry, Aaron. It's gonna get better.
It will.
I swear. Josh Allen, the problem is they were starting to get him more involved in the run game, and that's what they've needed to do. But by the end of that game, he was doing absolutely everything.
Right. He needed to
and then
to be
hurt
that guy.
himself.
Right. So he was hobbled. He threw how many times? It felt like 60. And then he was just he can't single-handedly do this. They have just sacrificed so much by not investing in the running game there. Sorry to rain on your parade. Anyway.
No.
Let's touch on Urban Meyer quickly.
Well, I just wanted to let you know that you're a winner. You are a winner. I would never tell you otherwise.
Okay, good.
Unlike Urban Meyer.
Thank you.
Urban Meyer, this is a complete shit show in Jacksonville. Tom Pelissero, he reported the whole bombshell story on Good Morning Football Weekend, which you guys should all tune in and watch.
Who's
it's
on
a
that?
great show. It's myself.
Oh.
It's Mike Garafolo. It's Michael Robinson. It's D'Angelo Hall.
Nice.
It's a ball.
So you got that big feminine energy on that show. You're the one anchor holding it down.
That's bad news for them. If
Yeah.
I'm the one that's bringing the big feminine energy. It's big feminine energy.
It's big
time.
femin.
So Tommy P comes on and talks about how tensions in Jacksonville have reached an all-time high. Urban Meyer was criticizing his coaching staff, calling them losers.
Yeah.
Which, who even does that? Who really going around and challenging them to tell Urban when they were winners,
Yeah,
when
it's
they
like
have
prove
ever
it to me
won.
on your resume. Show me your
Right.
resume.
And then even Marvin Jones, apparently, they had to persuade him to come back into the building because he was so upset about what happened with Urban. And I guess the heat that Urban was giving the wide receivers. So Shad Khan came out today. He vowed to do the right thing. He said he wouldn't make any hasty decisions. But I don't know. Call me crazy. It just feels like this whole Urban Meyer situation is not going great.
Yeah, I tweeted. I don't know if you saw it. I didn't text it to you.
You're going to tell me about your tweets again?
So yeah, this segment's called Ricky Talks About Her Own Personal Tweets. So I tweeted, I quote tweeted one of these blurbs that came out, and I was like, I'm starting to get the feeling that Urban Meyer's just not cut out for this. Like something's just nagging at me a little bit that like I don't know if he's a fit, you know? Like I don't know.
Did you see the reaction at the post-game handshake with
Yeah.
Mike Rabel
He's like
and him?
looking off into space like he's not even there.
1,000-yard stare. They were on the same staff together. Like it doesn't
Right.
this doesn't make any sense. Or I guess it does. He's just completely checked out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just at the end of the day I look at this podcast and I see a bunch of winners here.
I do too.
Have you ever won anything?
I feel like
Tell me when you have won something.
I won
I won a honeymoon.
How?
Yeah. I just entered a bunch of sweepstakes when I saw how expensive weddings were, and I entered a contest for every single thing.
Did you
I
guys
possibly
go?
could. Yeah.
Where was it?
Mexico, Cabo.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. I got so I got a phone call And it was like, you have one, like, whatever. And I'm like, well, that's a scam.
Yeah.
But I had to double check. So it was, do you remember, is the Knot even a thing anymore?
No.
It's a website? Okay.
Oh, yeah, where you put your, like, wedding registry. Yeah,
right.
yeah, it still exists.
So on the Knot, they had a bunch of sweepstakes and contests. And so it was, I guess, sponsored by Secret. And so I called the Knot.
What deodorant do you use? Shh.
It's a secret. I called the Knot and asked for this like woman who left me the voicemail, and they like connected me right to her office. And I was like, yeah, so I got this voicemail. Is this legit? And she was like, yeah, there's so many times that people don't collect their prizes because they think it's a scam.
What?
And it was an all-inclusive like stay at this
What about
resort in
flights
Cabo.
and-
We had to pay for the flights,
But so
everything
what?
else was paid for when we got there, and it was
What?
for a week. And it was great because we weren't going to be able to afford a honeymoon because we paid for our entire wedding. And I was like, yes!
God.
Yeah, it was great. So, anyone out there, shoot your shot.
Yeah, seriously, I didn't win the weakest link.
You did not.
Came
You did
close.
not. You lost that one. I've won a crab eating fry contest.
Crab
At
eating fry contest?
crab fry eating contest.
What's a crab
At
fry?
Chickies and Pete's. It's fries covered in Old Bay. And let me
Okay.
tell you, it was a terrible decision.
Really?
And I highly suggest that people do not do anything like that in the future. I think
Did you
it's
throw up?
why my esophagus still has problems
Burnt.
to this day, like 15 years later.
In college, my buddy Sam and I, we entered into a bunch of Iron Chef competitions, and we won a flat screen TV one year,
Whoa.
and we were the reigning champs in the Iron Chef. And one year, the mystery ingredient was apple juice, but
Uh-huh.
I used a jicama slaw, which is an apple-y flavored potato. Put a little apple juice in there.
You
Boom.
cook?
You couldn't even. I cook very well, actually, and we won. And one time we won mountain bikes, which my parents still have to this day.
Okay, so you are a serious winner.
Mhm.
Congratulations
Mhm.
on all of your wins.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
You too, buddy.
So, big My Cause, My Cleats.
Love it.
Finish.
Yeah, I
right?
think that's done now.
There were so many good ones. I love them all.
Yeah.
But we had one on the Saturday show that Lakeisha Wessling, friend of the show, worked
love her.
on.
Actually,
for-
before you say this, Keisha and I was just walking down to come down to the studio, and she was walking towards me from the other side of the hallway, and then she started doing this little dance and like twerking in the hallway, and then I on the other end of the hallway started twerking, and we were doing our twerking dance. But then Keisha realized that she had stepped too far past the wall, so all the people in the cubicles were watching her twerk, and then they started clapping for her, and so we just had like a total twerk fest. But
Keisha,
go on, it was awesome.
She's amazing. She's so good at so many different things, but she did such an amazing job
Yes.
with this piece. It was on CJ Uzama. His My Cause, My Cleats was not driving impaired. He lost one of his best friends, and it was so well done. She told me that his best friend that he had lost, Lakeisha, was talking to his dad, and that they were both on the phone crying
Oh
over the
my
piece. Like,
God.
the piece was really good, really powerful. If you get a chance, you should definitely watch it.
That's amazing.
So it was a really good one. There's so many though.
So many. I love seeing this. My favorite was Browns fullback Johnny Stanton, who partnered with Athlete Ally to create like a safe space for LGBTQ on and off the field, which clearly I have such a connection with that, and I just found it so moving. And Colleen, I actually got to sit down with him
Oh!
and ask him about his cleats this week.
Yes. Let's hear it.
Joining me now on the Split Ends podcast is Browns fullback Johnny Stanton. And before we get into your cleats, Johnny, I have to tell you that my brother's name is Johnny, but he spells it without the H. So which spelling do you think is better?
I don't know. I feel like whenever you see the word John has an H in it. So, and that's
Right.
my, real name, John Richard Stanton the fourth. So just throw in any NY on there and you got it. But I mean, your brother's spelling is just as valid. Not trying to take away from him.
Well, no, does it like make you mad? Because I'm an Erica, but I spell it with a C. So people that spell it with a K when they text me or whatever. I mean, you probably have the more, known way to spell Johnny. My brother is just Jon. So maybe he got the short end of the stick here.
I don't know. I think the people who should be the most mad are people named Ashley because there are like 20 different ways to spell Ashley.
Yeah, that's true. And they get more like crazy as time goes on too. It's like, why don't we just spell it, the normal way? And no, whatever. So let's talk about My Cause, My Cleats. So I was so moved to see when it just popped up into my Twitter feed about why you decided to go with Athlete Ally this year. Take me through that process and what made you decide to go in that direction.
Well, obviously, NFL gives us a really good opportunity to be able to support the causes that we want to, support, and a lot of guys take advantage of that, which I think is always a really cool thing. We oftentimes we're the one who get to go out and choose our artists, and we are the ones who commission them. Obviously, they're not just doing this pro bono. We want to be able to support them. So last year, I chose another foundation that was very close to me, the Jesse Reese Foundation.
Okay.
And they work with pediatric cancer patients, and they do a really incredible job. And I'm very close to the Reese family, so it felt very obvious for me to be able to do that. But when I was injured in 2018, that's when I first became involved with the Jesse Reese Foundation, and that's when I was at home trying to figure out what to do. And around the same time, I got involved with Athlete Ally. At the same time, I became an Athlete Ally ambassador, and I was really proud of that. I felt very proud of the fact that this isn't something that a lot of football players are not doing. So this year, when I had the opportunity again to have some cleats made to support a cause that I'm passionate about, I felt like it was a really good opportunity for me to be able to support something that not a lot of people support. And especially, this summer when Carl Nassib came out, it really felt like the right time. This is really something that I can kind of piggyback off of and really throw my support behind, because I just think I felt like it was a really good opportunity, and to just be able to show my support to Carl as well, show that you're not the only person in the league who's willing to support this.
Yeah, I think it was just so moving, and I just to think about what this looks like and where we are in 2021, and you have things like what Carl has done for the league, and then people like you who just come out and say, listen, you should feel safe here on this field, and I'm going to support that. And to see someone do that is just so impactful, and I'm so excited to see and to talk with you about it. What was the response from your teammates, from Twitter, which I can imagine can be all over the place? Mm-hmm. What was that like?
Honestly, it was overwhelmingly positive. Obviously, there was some negative in there, but it really wasn't anything that was super impactful in any way. It was much more positive than negative, and I had the support of my teammates. The Browns organization was very supportive of. I even cleared it with them, hey, just so you guys know, for my cause and my cleats, I'm planning on supporting Athlete Ally, and obviously, it's not super common for people to, in my position to support an LGBTQ rights organization, but I just want to let you know, as long, I'm hoping that you guys can support me in this. And they were all about it. They were excited to be able to support me with it, which I really appreciated. But yeah, I got, including yourself, which I really appreciate, the retweets and everything like that. I got a lot of support with it, and kind of culminating with the NFL posting it to their Twitter account and Instagram account was unexpected, but absolutely welcomed and very cool.
So what made you, and this is such an easy question, right? But for a lot of people that don't understand, what made you put your pronouns in your bio?
Because it's, like you said, it's such an easy thing to do.
Right.
And it doesn't mean anything. It's what you want to be called by, and that's just, and I've had people talk to me, I'll have message requests that would show up on my Instagram DMs, and a lot of them are pretty mean, especially when those pictures came out. But a large majority of them have been not only extremely supportive, but also genuinely asking questions. There was somebody who asked, you're obviously a male, why do you have he, him pronouns in your bio? I said, well, because there are people who might not be as passing or something in the gender that they are, not even identify as, that's the gender they are. It's not preferred pronouns, it's your pronouns. So if you can normalize people showing their pronouns for people who are cisgendered, it won't be as big of a deal that, you don't want just the people who have to clarify their pronouns to be the ones who are clarifying their pronouns.
Right.
So I just want to be able to help normalize it, and it's such an easy thing to do.
So what does being an Athlete Ally ambassador include?
Honestly, the majority of it is just throwing your name behind the organization. Being able to be available for different not even events, because the majority of the time that I've been as part of Athlete Ally has kind of been around COVID and not really a whole lot of in-person events. And plus they're in New York, and my off season, I live in California. So, sometimes it is supporting them through social media. This summer during Pride Month, I created a fundraiser to benefit. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting the second organization. It was to benefit Athlete Ally, and I think it was the Black Women's Players. I forget exactly what it was, but it was a really cool organization that supported Black athletes, Black female athletes. And I was able to give away some signed hats, signed gloves, a couple different things and I think the grand prize was a football signed by the whole team.
Wow.
And we were able to raise, I think, a little bit over $2,000 for that. And I was able to match all donations. So it was a really cool opportunity for me to be able to support them. And it was kind of my most active way in supporting them before My Cause, My Cleats this year.
Yeah, well, I ordered my Play Beyond the Game shirt, and I'm super excited to be rocking that when I can get it. So I want to pivot a little bit more to the football side for a second. So you played quarterback in college, and then you shifted to fullback for the Vikings in 2018. Like, that is not necessarily like the straightest career path. What was that shift like for you?
Obviously it was a big learning opportunity. Was
Right.
what it was. My college career, I bounced around to a couple different schools. I started in Nebraska. I bounced back from I went to Saddleback College and then bounced back to UNLV. And throughout my career, I didn't really end up having the performance that I was hoping to have. I didn't end up being in the situation that I was hoping to be put in. So by the time my senior year came, I wasn't starting quarterback anymore. And I wanted to get out there on the field. So I asked my head coach, hey, can I play some special teams? So they put me on special teams a game. I got a punt block. The linebacker coach said, hey, can you help us at linebacker? We're a little bit short from injuries. I was able to play a couple games at linebacker before I actually came back at quarterback for a couple games. And then my senior year is over, and I'm like, okay, I played, I think, 7 games at quarterback and didn't, throw up the world-breaking numbers that I was, hoping to have as high school kid or going into college. So when it came down to participating in pro day, participating in trying to get in front of scouts, I wasn't sure if I was going to do it before I actually got a call from the CFL to see if I could try out for them, and they wanted me to work out at my pro day. So I thought, if I'm going to be doing the pro day, I might as well. If I'm going to be in front of NFL scouts, and if it's not going to be for quarterback, I can show that I'm an athlete and I can play a lot of different positions in the field. So I worked out at quarterback, tight end, linebacker, and long snapper on my pro day.
Okay.
And I still haven't said fullback yet. But I got the opportunity to try out for Minnesota as a tight end during their rookie minicamp. I did well enough to be signed. And as right before my flight home, I remember seeing on Twitter, it's like, we signed a new player, Johnny Stanton, number 48 fullback. I'm like, I guess I got to learn a new position.
Wow.
So yeah, those first couple months was a lot of learning. I got to learn from one of the best running back coaches in the league. Coach Polamalu over there, behind one of the best fullbacks in the league, CJ Ham. And it was a really good opportunity. And then I ended up breaking my ankle in 2018. So, and then it was about a year and a half before I got to be on another team. So it was a long road to be able to come here on the Browns in January of 2020.
Well, I find that inspiring, that look at where you are now, and it doesn't kind of matter where you start, it's where you finish. And you scored your first NFL touchdown this year, and it happened to be a primetime game, right? So did it feel more significant that all eyes were on you in that moment?
When I scored it the primetime aspect of it didn't really come across to me. It was more just afterwards, I think I got a lot more text than I would have otherwise if it was just a Sunday, 4:00 game. But I don't think it really necessarily adds to the specialness of it. Just being able to score that touchdown, have Case throw it, choose to throw to me on that play. You have Coach, have the confidence in me to call my number. It was it was very special in itself. I actually just got the football back that I
Oh,
scored.
cool.
So they put some artwork on it and stuff. It's pretty
That's
cool.
amazing. Did you have to pay someone like a Bitcoin to get it back, or was it like a Brady situation?
No, it wasn't that bad. But I spiked the ball pretty hard after scoring it, and it went like 20 yards away. There's still like the paint mark actually on the side of the ball.
Oh my God, I love that so much. Some fans of, this is weird, feels weird to say. Some fans of mine had made a Dungeons and Dragons chart, and they put me as chaotic evil. And I don't think that sounds good. Do you think I fit into that category? Like, what does that even mean?
I think I'll have to watch your show or listen to your show a
Okay.
little bit more to be able to figure that out. But I think the classic example of chaotic evil is the Joker.
Okay.
So if you relate to the Joker a lot,
I mean, I don't think so, but
especially not the new one, yeah.
right? Like that's okay. I mean, I guess I have to work on my
Yeah, work
public
on your image a
persona
little bit,
there.
yeah.
Seriously. But so you're super into D&D and you've played with teammates like Miles Garrett. Is it like what was that night like?
So we got to play a little bit last year, and there's a very cool story. The fact that one of the a big article in Sports Illustrated that just came out this last week was all about Miles, Wyatt, and me playing Dungeons and Dragons is the weirdest thing ever. But they talk about it a little bit in the article that I saw Miles wearing a Stranger Things shirt one day during like camp or early on in the season last year, and I said, "Hey, do you want to play the game that they were playing in that? It's called Dungeons and Dragons." He said, "Yeah, I'd like to try it out." So that was about as easy as it was. So then we got some more teammates to play it. And I think we played like 3 times last year. We got to play 3 times this year.
Oh,
And
wow.
kind of the finish of the little like campaign story that I started. So it's super fun. They get really into it. We play with Miles' girlfriend and best friend and with Wyatt. And it's super fun. And a cool way to be able to become closer to some teammates.
Yeah, that sounds so cool. And I'm picturing you guys as the Stranger Things characters right now. And I'm trying to fit in like who Miles would be. But I think that's like a question for another time. But as someone who's personally in the LGBTQ community, like for me, it was so touching to see what you decided to dedicate your cleats to this year. And to know that here we are in 2021, and there are football players saying you have a safe space here. So from me and from other people in the community, like I cannot thank you enough for just something as simple as cleats. Like it meant the world to me and so many people.
Well, thank you for saying that. It was, I wanted, in essence, like you said, I wanted people who are growing up to not feel like they have to hide who they are in what should be the most comfortable you feel. Like on the football field is where I feel the most comfortable. And if I wouldn't be able to feel like myself on the football field, then, it'd be a tragedy. So, and I know that's the reality for thousands of kids. And, they feel uncomfortable to the point where they drop out of sports, of youth sports at a much, much higher rate because of the, just the culture of sports here in the US and around the world, really. So no, I appreciate you saying that, and still got a long road ahead, but I'm happy to be part of it.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks for your time today. It was so great to sit down with you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank
Great.
you.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Aaron,
Erica,
anything
yeah, you
else?
didn't use any of my Dungeons and Dragons questions.
I can't read. I don't even know what that means. Like 5E.
You can ask him now if you like. Yeah.
Pathfinder. What does that mean?
My main question was if you can make your own party of any NFL coaches and players.
Oh,
who do you
right.
want?
That's a
who
good
do you
one.
want as your party?
Ooh.
And they don't have to play because like who knows?
Okay. Are you saying like fill out the class like chemistry?
Who's gonna be your drurid? Like
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
That's
You
a
have
good
to like
question.
sort. You have to dumb this down. What a druid?
So,
What is that? Is that
think
like
of,
the
have you seen Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Okay. So if you think about Lord of the Rings, they had like the Fellowship of the Rings was like basically a D&D party.
Okay.
You have Gimli, who's like a fighter. You have obviously Gandalf, who's the wizard. You have Legolas, who's the ranger. All these are different archetypes who kind of play into what a like fantasy archetypes. What you don't want everybody to be a spellcaster, or else somebody with a sword will be able to them up. Sorry for
Right.
for cursing.
No.
You wouldn't want everybody to have a sword because one spellcaster would be able to mess all of them up. You want to have like a good mix, and then like have a healer, so like be able to have somebody like keep you alive.
But what if your healer gets got?
Exactly. You want your healer to be able to be protected. So you want somebody to be able to kind of tank some damage.
Okay.
It's funny. I was thinking of like high football IQ guys to be like, a high intelligence score. I think Jarvis Landry honestly has one of the highest football IQs that I've ever seen on the field. If you don't put like a quarterback in at a Wizard, then I think that you put Jarvis there.
Okay.
I mean, you can. In Dominican Sue would probably be pretty good Barbarian. Wyatt plays our Barbarian.
Okay, that fits.
I don't know. That's a good question, though. I feel like I have to start thinking about that. But those are kind of like my off the top of my head, my best ones.
Okay. What about Baker?
Baker, what kind of class would he be? One of Baker's best qualities is like his charisma, his like ability to lead, and paladins use their charisma like to be able to kind of like cast magic and stuff, but they're also like fighters, and that's kind of what I think about Baker. Is like he's one of the toughest dudes in the field, as you guys have seen this season. Like he
plays with every injury known to man.
Absolutely. So like kind of the combination of toughness, but also being like smile in the face of like death in front of you is kind of the what I'm thinking of like as a paladin for him.
Wow.
Yeah, Erica, just so you know, I would peg you as like you're more chaotic neutral. You would probably be a bard, I think, actually.
I can see that.
And
I
Colleen,
don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Colleen would be. I think Colleen would be like a chaotic good or lawful good.
Okay.
And I don't know class for her yet, but I felt like you would. I as you were writing this last night, I was like, I kind of feel like Erica could be a bard. So.
I don't know what that means.
A bard is like
I'll
somebody who, like a traveling musician or a traveling poet or something like that. Like you're very much into the arts, but you're using that as like your magic.
Okay.
And Erica's in like a million different podcasts. So
yeah, I don't shut up. I'm just so sick of the sound of my own voice.
That was so awesome.
Yeah.
You should do more like that.
I know. It was so awesome. He was so nice and so sweet. And also, I had to like totally fake, talk about being a professional. We talk about that a lot. I totally was like, oh, yeah. This is so great during the interview. But then after, thank God Aaron was there to explain to me all of the Dungeons and Dragons stuff because I had no idea what any of that meant.
Yeah, you lost me a little bit on that. As I said before the show, whenever I hear D&D, I think it's Dunkin' Donuts. So Dungeons and Dragons, kind of over my head.
What'd you think, Aaron?
Oh, I loved it. I thought he was great, and I love hearing about like players' specific hobbies and interests that are like outside of football or their community work or family stuff. So like Kyler Murray streams playing Madden and NBA 2K, and like every year in Hard Knocks there's always someone who like plays piano really well, and there's like a shot of that in like the second or third episode of Hard Knocks every year. So yeah, I loved him. He was great. And, I'm working on a campaign for the three of us to sit down. We can all play Dungeons and Dragons together. We'll get it set up for the off season.
You're going to have to teach me like everything.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big gamer.
Yep.
I don't know if you would
It's a board game though. It's right? It's not. Is it a board game?
What? It's
a tabletop game, so you just have dice pretty much and you just talk the whole time. There's no,
but it's like
a
story. It's like Stranger Things. Yep. Like you go through a campaign. Like you're gonna be there was ATN fans made a graph. Did you see that? And you were like lawful, neutral, and I was chaotic evil,
right.
Which I don't understand. And Johnny was actually like, no, you don't seem that. And then Aaron called me like, what did you call me? Like a bard, like a butch.
I said, yeah.
What?
No, I did not.
What happened here?
That.
See, here's the thing. Like, we're gonna pull back the curtain a little bit. I wasn't there for the interview because it was last Thursday, right?
Yep.
But I did get all of the fallout from it, and there was like a lot of talk about video games, and it made me a little nervous about this.
But apparently I learned that it's not even a video game. It's like we all sit around and have little dungeons, or what were you saying my energy
We have
was?
little dungeons.
Or dragons. Dungeons or dragons.
Right. So there's someone that's like what did he call me in that interview? Like a magician who uses their like charm to get by on life or something?
What?
A bard. A bard who uses their charisma.
Oh
This
my
is
God,
going on-
Johnny Stanton.
Wait.
Is he a psychic?
I
Is he
think so.
Reading people?
Yeah, basically it was like you don't have much talent, but you have your charisma.
You'll always have that, Ricky. That's awesome. All right. Or maybe we have him back on the show to
I'd love
read
to.
other
He was so
personalities
great.
from the network.
It was amazing though to go back, and I know you just heard it in the interview, but to hear someone say like, "Hey, like what can I do? I'm gonna have rainbow cleats so people feel safe here." Like,
love
what does
that.
that do to me? Like, it was just so awesome, and just gets me so fired up.
What a great guy. I
Yeah.
already loved him because his name is fun to say. I
Yeah.
like to run around my house and say, Johnny Stanton. I don't know why. It's just like a name that I am kind of obsessed with. So that's it. Awesome job
Thank you.
with the interview there. Let's end with our split end of the week.
Ooh, when those drums come in, it can only mean one thing. It's time for the split end of the week. Hit me with the saxophone.
All right. Here we go. We actually didn't talk about this beforehand, so I'm just going to throw one out there.
Perfect.
You. Who's your favorite backup quarterback in the entire league?
Oh my
Because
God.
mine's from my city right now.
Okay, let's hear it. Who do you
Gardner
got?
Minshew. I
Okay.
tried to get him on this pod. Unfortunately, there were like 80,000 requests
Right.
after
right.
that game.
But not
where
only did you try, but you like threw it out. You're like, "Hey, got something in the works for Minshew."
I
And
was
Aaron and I are
working
like,
on it.
"What? Let's go!" Yeah, and you're like, "Hey,
listen,
no."
sometimes I come through, sometimes I don't.
Hey,
But
it's all right.
Gardner Minshew is my favorite. I'm trying to get that bomber jacket that he
Yes.
was wearing. That
Yes.
had all of the patches and the Eagles logo on it. Him and his dad. I just like really enjoy when players get to celebrate with their parents.
Yeah,
it
it's
really
awesome.
warms my heart into it. And
Yeah.
also, he's just got so much swag.
Yeah, it's unreal. The mustache and the his like journey around the country in a van, like he is out of control. That off season a few years ago, unbelievable. You kind of took it like I don't know.
There's really no other
there really
backup quarterbacks.
isn't.
that-
Like I just picture
Case Keenum's fun.
Case Keenum's great. That's a good one too. I mean, maybe Cam Newton to PJ Walker.
Yeah.
Depending on the snap, like
That's-
when rules not switching up, like I don't know.
That could work.
Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer's just like old reliable Brian Hoyer.
He's gonna be
always
there.
He's
He's
like the
gonna be
best
there.
friend that like if you call him, he's gonna pick up and
Yeah.
answer and be like, yeah, where do I need? You need bail money? Cool, no problem.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Perfect. Just
Yeah.
like me and you.
Exactly, just like me and you. Splitties, let us know.
Let us know who
who's
you
your
think.
favorite backup quarterback in the entire league.
The entire league.
The entire league. All of the teams. That's it for us this week. Great job with the interview, Johnny Stanton.
Thanks, buddy.
We will be back next week. Until then, let's split.
Let's split.
You're late.
Well, I was reading Apple Podcast reviews, which you Splitty should leave more of because they really help us, kind of move up the chain. And this one says, Colleen is likable and funny as usual, and Erica seems to be actually trying at this podcast. Good variety of guests so far and entertaining on every episode. So
We're going to keep trying to get better, guys.
just keep leaving those reviews. But 5 stars. 5 stars.
5 stars is great. Rate, review, subscribe, only if it's good.
All right, now let's split.